unlimited energy is available, though, wouldn't there be some temptation or attempt for the powers that be to try to somehow seize power of it and use it to try to re-erect their system of control?
They've been using it since the 50s to maintain their system of control, and they're losing it as we speak. They may indeed attempt to resurrect it, but once that knowledge is out, it's out, and you can't put it back. So their control fades from that point onward, because if I've got unlimited energy and so on, they have no threat they can maneuver over me to make me their slave again, right? Sure. It's kind of like, at that point, it's the great equalizer, the ultimate leveler. If I have unlimited energy, as a corollary to that, I have the ability to what's known as tweak the template. If you go and read Tom Bearden's site on free energy, you get the real nuances of that term. But it means being able to tweak reality as it's being created. And so you could take a handful of, leaves from your garden and make them into a turkey dinner if you wanted. If you could tweak the template correctly, you just tell it how to rearrange itself. If you have the unlimited energy, you can go ahead and do that. And basically that's at the core of anti-gravity. And so these people are out there doing that now, and it's kind of like the replicator idea of the food service on Star Trek Enterprise kind of thing, right? And at that level, your energy needs and your food needs are met. Someone shows up on your doorstep, it's like, well, guy, I'm every bit as powerful as you. You can't push me around anymore. A lot of people wouldn't be pushed around.
One question we've had from the viewers is, could you give an example or some examples of free energy devices?
Sure. Actually, there are some that actually appear to be working now, and they're not free, but they're what are called over unity. That is to say, you get more energy out than you put in, and those are the cold fusion devices. The issue of cold fusion is that it apparently only works when it's at a hyperdimensionally sensitive area. And so these are known spots on the planet that correspond to the intersection of the giant tetrahedron, so to speak, that is at the core of everything and expresses itself out through all the various energy levels. So the cold fusion does work. There are examples of using that level of energy coming out of Russia now. And these include things like the device called the Skinar Kosmodek. And it's a method of using electrical energy in very finely pulsed format to change the human body. And it tickles the ability of the particular cells and tells them rearrange yourself back to where you were before the injury. And it's rather a remarkable device. It's not instantaneous and it's not the cure for everything, but it says that we're on the appropriate way there. And true, it doesn't work on free energy, but it's in that same category of devices that come from hyperdimensional or hyperspatial quantum understanding. So the issue is I don't have a free energy device at the moment. I've seen some examples of things that I consider to be over unity devices, magnetic motors, etc., that I could turn into a never-ending source of electrical energy with no problem at all. And these are available to be seen under the heading of magnetic motors on YouTube if you want to go and look at them.
All right.
Some of them are really quite staggering, and I'm in the process of building a few of them myself if I can ever get the time. You can hook them up to a generator and just have them trickle charge your system. But the free energy devices that we're discussing are related to the hovering triangles that are said to have been perfected by the U.S. shadow government that controls all of the Anglosphere in 1956. And there's enough mass of evidence that suggests that they indeed have perfected those, and then our data suggests that some of these secrets will be coming out over this next year in fits and starts and clumps as various different things occur. And let me also point out something else. It is a telling bit of information just knowing how much is being redacted by the government. So, for instance, if one were to make a Freedom of Information request relative to over unity devices or any of these various different terms, and then you got back 1,000 pages of which 998 were blacked out, well, it tells you that there's a whole lot of evidence they don't want you to see. And just based on the number of redacted pages versus delivered pages, there's about 100-to-1 correspondence. So for every page they deliver in a Freedom of Information Act response to anything related to over unity or 0-point energy, there are 100 pages that are delivered in a mostly redacted format. So that really tells me that indeed they have perfected it because they're trying to hide so much.
Wow. Are you aware of any websites that talk specifically about that type of, about the devices and the amount of data, like examples of these FOIA requests where you could actually see?
Sure. The place to start would be Tom Bearden's site. you can put in free energy and Tom Bearden in any search engine and start piggybacking from there. And he has links on his site that will take you to other sites and just keep going.
Okay. Now we've had another question come in here. They're asking if you're aware of an alliance between Russia, Canada, Scandinavian regarding the new electrics.
Okay, that's what we show coming out in 2013 or so onward. Our data in a general sense, in a broad sense, suggests that a renaissance is coming to humans after we get through 2012 and we start in on 2013. It suggests that that renaissance will be powered by what we call the new electrics. The new electrics is the outbreak of all this information about how to create free energy, etc. Bear in mind it'll take us a number of years to get that spread throughout society, just the way it took us a number of years to electrify the country.
Sure.
And regardless of what mechanisms we use to distribute this. But anyway, our data suggests that there's a core of resources between Siberia, Canada, and Brazil that will form a central component of the free energy into the future. And it appears to be related to a crystalline structured element or molecule or something that will be dug up in Canada and mined there very successfully for decades and decades and will be at the core of all of this. I can't say what the nature of that crystalline structure material is. We just have a very vague description of it because of the nature of the language around it. But indeed, there's that kind of like little triangle there from Siberia where they're also going to have some necessary component of this